So I'm going to do the rules and the regulation for today's event. So please allow me to inform you of a number of rules and regulation to have our sessions in order. First, we will have 3 sessions each day. The session will start with a small introduction about our speakers before the prepared YouTube videos are ready to be viewed by all of us. The video will take around 12 to 15 minutes each. And second, during the playing of the videos, participants are invited to post any questions or comments in the Zoom room by mentioning to which researcher the question is addressed. As an alternative, if it's better to ask the question directly, then we suggest you use the raised hand facility in the Zoom room. When time is available, we will choose who should direct the questions. Third, all presenters are audience encouraged to be on camera and use the virtual background supplied in the chat facility during the Q&A sessions. Fourth, the Q&A will last for around 15 minutes. And when you ask a question, we ask that you first mention your name and from which institution you are. And please make sure that you only ask one short and clear question. If we think that the question is too long or not clear enough, we may need to cut your question. So someone might take your time to ask other question. And the last, in case there are no questions from the audience, however, we will invite our room reactors to react to the presentation by giving suggestions or questions to the researcher. We hope everyone will have a successful presentation and the Q&A will benefit everyone. Now we will begin the presentation. Dear presenters and the audience, now it's time for our first session of researchers to present their videos. Before that, let me inform you about the background of our first researcher, Miss Marivic and Miss Rosanna from the La Salle University, Dasmariñas, Cavite, Philippines.
Good morning. I'm here to present you my study entitled Analysis of the Performance of Supervised Learning Algorithm for Alignment of Objectives in Assessments. I am from the Information Technology Department at the Rosario University, Dasmariñas in the Philippines. According to PM vision, teach less to our students so that they will learn more. This means that the traditional means of rote learning should be minimized, and that we should adopt technologies that would prepare our learners to be more equipped in dealing with the world. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution, which is a time for exponential change. With the emergence of technologies such as artificial intelligence, the IoT and robotics comes also new forms of institution. This great change is characterized by ubiquitous involvement of everyone and everything, and the velocity of change. The change in our society is brought about by the merging of boundaries of the physical and digital worlds. The role of different academic institutions as beacons of knowledge lies heavily on how we teach the next generation to be persistent in a knowledge-driven society. Digitalization of the workplace trickles down to the very essential that students be prepared for what to expect in the workplace. John Dick differentiated these two types of teaching as anthropocentric humanism, which pertains to the traditional method, and the critical posthumanism, which describes the new types of digital education. This revolves around the idea that technology is not merely an instrument, but also that the dynamics of time and space to create new environments of learning that challenges our old belief of what learning is. In an era of knowledge-based economy, OBE is hailed as one of the most important reforms. Several countries, which include China, Canada, United States, and the New Zealand, has implemented the outcomes-based education. Towards the promotion of educational reform as its primary goal in its implementation. However, there have been opinions or differences in opinions of opposing movements. Several countries have already embraced the implementation of the OPE, including the Philippines. It's through its Memorandum 46 series of 2012, the Commission on Higher Education requires that all higher education institutions to adopt the outcomes-based education, or OPE, through its implementation or aims to produce professionals which are globally competitive by equipping the learners with the qualifications and standards of the 21st century. This emphasizes the point that what and whether students learn successfully is more important than when and how they learn something. OBE assesses the competencies of the learners. This view is holistic approach in assessing the competence of the learning in terms of their knowledge, skills, and values, and that these assessments come in various approaches. This entails performance-based assessment strategies rather than what we have been used, that is criterion reference assessments. The significant technological revolutions in teaching and learning have been confined to addressing issues of access and convenience. However, addressing the relevance and quality of the learning experience demands that higher education takes a fresh look at how it approaches teaching and learning and utilizing technology. Measuring and analyzing dynamic student data to gain a better understanding of the learning process with the ultimate goal of optimizing learning and teaching involves learning analytics. This involves using information not only of the learners, but of the learning environment to assess and analyze them for modeling, prediction, and optimization of the learning process. So this study will focus on the assessment of the application of OPE in a blended learning environment with regards to attainment of the intended learning outcomes. So there are a handful of studies with the application of OBE in higher education in face-to-face setup, but very limited in the blended setup. These papers aim to assess if what is done in the face-to-face setup is transcended to the blended learning courses. This paper also assesses the evidence of the implementation of the OBE, which refers to learning outcomes. Case Castillo suggested that the key policy focus area may be on the effectiveness of OBE in higher education, and it is measured in the achievement of success indicators of OBE. Okay, so additionally, it aims to assess if the assessments given in the blended classes contribute to the achievement of the higher order thinking skills which are greatly sought in all courses. Lastly, it aims to answer if blended learning augments or helps the face-to-face setup in the achievement of a successful OBE implementation. Okay, so the method that I used was KDB, or knowledge discovery in databases process. This is a research field concerned with deriving higher insights from data and is aimed at acquiring implicit knowledge from data and use it to build classification, prediction, and description, which is used for decision making. So this is the study design. This involves KDB as discussed in PDCA, or the Plan, Do, Check, and Act framework. This is used to ascertain that the continual improvement of learning is described in the OBE framework The KDD is a research field to derive higher level insights from data. So the cycle suggests that in both doing a good job and in management. So in the study, the outcome of the KDD using classification will be used in the act phase of the cycle, where continuous improvement is a major component. So the primary goal of the study is to determine if the learning objectives are achieved in the subject through the analysis of realistic assessments given in blended learning environment. So the output of the data mining activity can be used to revise the syllabi from the learning objectives to the teaching learning objectives and assessments, which will then enhance the subject and the curriculum as well. So the data set came from the classes offered by and to the students of the Computer Studies Department, implemented using blended learning course in its courses from 2016 to 2019. So the required data was obtained using the schoolbook video LMS platform that is used by the Lasal University Dex Marinos. So the variables will provide the data on course learning objectives and the course assessment. So the records of the blended learning courses for the school year 2016 and 2019 was utilized. Okay, so the following attributes were identified as significant. So whether it is a course-specific or general education subjects. So second is the delivery of the subject, whether it is a laboratory class, a lecture class, or a combination of both. The third is the course level outcome, which identified according to the verbs used in the description of the subject or course according to Bloom's taxonomy. Next are the topic learning outcomes. The topic learning outcomes are grouped into prelims, midterms, and finals. Next is the assessment of the learning outcomes level based on the type of assessment and directions which are given in the assessments. And then the next one are the attributes, whether the assessment is discrete or non-discrete. So, or if the assessment has a predefined points or rubrics for checking. The next attribute is in the term which is the assessments were given, grouped accordingly to prelim, midterm, and finals. And then lastly, the attribute that differentiates whether the assessment is given as an enabling or a summative assessment. Okay, so the study used simple part in classifier in selecting different attributes. So it used cross-validation of 10 folds. This is used to test the data set. So in the Bloom's taxonomy, there are 6 levels: remember, understand, analyze, evaluate, and apply, and create. In the classifier, it differentiated the level of outcomes yielding 71 leaf nodes and a tree with a size of 141. It was also was able to correctly and classify 91.9426% of instances and 8.0574% incorrectly classified for a total of 6,342 instances. So the classifier has a kappa statistic of 0.7992 and has a weighted MCC average of 0.812. So with the said values, it implies that the model using the topic learning outcomes using the 10-fold cross-validation technique was effective in building the model using the CART algorithm. Okay, so second is the alignment of the course learning outcome and the assessment level outcomes. So as you can see, the majority of the course level outcomes were in the apply level, followed by the analyze and remember. However, majority of the assessments are given in the apply level, followed by remember and then evaluate. So with the aid of the visualization feature, the apply level can be seen as the majority in both the attributes followed by remember. Although this indicates the assessments are aligned with the course level outcomes of apply, which are included as one of the groups in the higher order thinking skills in the Bloom's taxonomy. Next is the alignment of the course level outcome and the topic level outcome. So majority of the course level outcome is in the apply, followed by remember, then create. So, however, the majority of the topic level given in the remember level, followed by understand and then create. In the visualization, apply can be seen as the majority in the course level outcome, which is in the higher order thinking skills level, while the topic level outcomes are focused on number and understanding, which are both in the lower level thinking skills. Hence, the topic learning outcomes are not aligned with the course level outcomes. So the university is committed to developing holistic individuals as seen by the graduate attributes mentioned in the communication. However, the learning outcomes for both the course and the topic featured in the course should support the graduate attribute. As a result, the following should be included in the framework while evaluating it. So a learning plan which specifies the achievement of the higher order thinking skills for both the topic and course learning outcomes. The assessment learning outcomes should be aligned with both topic and learning outcomes. The range of evaluation styles is available for various course kinds and delivery methods, and a rubric that specifies how non-discrete assessments should be checked or graded. As for the conclusion, the proponent identified crucial features that can be employed as predictors for establishing conformity of assessment learning results with the course and subject learning outcomes with specific objective number 1. So the CART method was used to generate decision trees. Okay, this was used to classify the sorts of different learning activities offered in the blended learning environment. So the degree of learning outcomes and their alignment with both the course learning outcome and the topic learning outcome should be incorporated into the framework for the conduct of blended classes in the university. Further, the learning plan should include a policy for developing higher order thinking skills for the course and topic understanding. Likewise, a diversity of assessments should be offered, and for non-discrete examinations, a specific set of criteria must be established as a reference for teachers and students to evaluate and grade examination. Okay, so that's it for my presentation for today. Thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome to
Okay, so that's all from the first video presentation. If you all have so many questions, please note it first because we will have the Q&A session later on after all the videos on the first session already shown. So now we continue to the second video presentation. And before that, I will inform the name of the researchers. First is Miss or Mr. Javee Adison, and then Miss or Mr. Vradly Llamas, Mr. And then Miss or Mr. Renz Manipon, Mr. And the last is Miss Marivic Mitschek. Is all of the researcher here? If yes, please open your camera. On. Oh, all right. All right. So let's continue and start our second video presentation.
Good morning. I am from the Information Technology Department with the ESUD Philippines, and I am here to present to you the Internet of Things enabling architecture for safe, modern public transportation amidst the pandemic. Today, we now live in a time when we can go to our destination at least, even though we don't own a car. It is done through commuting. Riding in different passenger vehicles is how people usually commute. But the most common passenger vehicle in the Philippines is the public utility jeepney or simulated jeepney. During the year 2020, the cases of COVID-19 increased tremendously. and lockdown has been implemented, which means public transportation has been suspended indefinitely. After several months of lockdown due to COVID-19, people are starting to live a life from a new normal perspective, but there are some health and safety protocols that needs to be followed. People must be 6 feet apart from each other, and the Philippine government allows the public transportation to start running again, but the protocol only allows them to accommodate 50% capacity of the passengers. The pandemic that the country is experiencing now has a huge impact on public transportations, as it is one of the modes of transportation for the workers. With its enclosed spaces, such as physical contacts in public vehicles, that is one of the reasons for transmission of the virus, which is very hard to avoid. Social distancing in this case is a must to reduce and prevent the spread of the virus. The researchers enhanced the effect of social distancing in public transportations by developing a device that will alarm through a buzzer whenever the weight sensor that is installed on the X-marked seat or the unavailable seat detects weight. It will only correct the weight applied on each sensor, and the alarm will only trigger only once the sensor reaches the weight limit defined by the researchers. Also, an SMS will be sent to the operator after every 30 minutes for the recorded data on how many times the alarm activated. It also included an SMS with the location of the jeepney when the alarm is activated. This will serve as an indication if the driver neglects and disregards the health protocol implemented on the public transportation. The number of available seats is displayed on the LCD screen in the driver's area. This prevents the driver from stopping on passengers that want to ride from time to time. The device is also mounted under the long chair of a modern jeepney. Each chair will have 4 load cell sensors located on X-marked seats, which will be connected to the Mega Arduino via the HX711 load cell amplifier, which will determine the passenger's weight, and the IR proximity sensor, which will determine the number of available seats, and the GPS module, which will detect the device's location. So the objective of the study is to design an IoT device or an IoT application for public modern utility jeepney with the capacity checker using Arduino. So objectives include to design a conceptual model, to develop this conceptual model into a prototype, and to evaluate the system with the interoperability for IoT systems framework, also known as the ISO/IEC 21823-1 2019. So using this criteria, it includes five criteria, which includes transport interoperability, behavioral interoperability, policy interoperability, and semantic operability. And the lastly is to implement the IoT device or a miniature design in preparation for development. Okay. Next is the focus of the study is in helping preventing physical contacts of commuters to lessen the transmission rate of the COVID-19 in modern jeepneys by giving awareness to both passengers and jeepney drivers that the protocol to social distancing in public transportation is violated. The IoT device will then display the count and count the number of available and marked seats, and will give notification to the driver if there are available or no available seats. When the passenger violates social distance in the modern jeep, an SMS will be sent to the operator every 30 minutes. So the study focused only on modern jeepneys and did not call for any other public transportation such as old models of jeepney, buses, and trains. The data collection is conducted only to commuters, modern jeepney drivers, and IT professionals. So here's the conceptual framework. This uses the use case diagram for IoT device. So the diagram shows the summarization of the IoT device and the user's interaction with the device. The components for the use case are actors, the use case, the boundary of the system, and association. The diagram or the actors in the diagram are the passengers, the driver, and the operator, and they are connected to the function of the IoT device. And lastly, the associations is the line that connects actors and use cases that shows participation of an actor in the use case. The study is based on descriptive quantitative method for research design. This method aims to gather data and information on population, situation, and phenomena. The method can be used regarding what is currently happening with the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. The quantitative research method deals with quantifying and analyzing variables in order to get results. It involves the utilization and analysis of numerical data using specific statistical techniques to answer questions like who, how much, what, where, when, how many, and how. So the group chose this method to identify how the IoT checker with alarm can help in implementing the 50% capacity passengers and maintaining the social distance while in the public utility chip. Following is our research design. We utilize the IoT New Development Cycle, which is composed of 3 phases, including the design, deployment, and monitor phase. Shown in here is the schematic diagram, which shows or illustrates the connections of hardware materials to each other and the architecture layers. The load cells will detect the weight, and the X711 module will make it feasible for the Mega Arduino. With the IR proximity sensor, it detects the presence of the passengers on the seats available for seating and will send the data gathered to the Mega Arduino to display in the LCD. So the Mega Arduino will then identify the maximum weight limit if it is reached or not. If it exceeds the weight limit, the buzzer will sound. So the GPS module NEO6M will detect the device's current location. The data for how many times the buzzer beeps, as well as the data of the GPS, will be sent on an SMS through the use of GSM GPRS SIM800M module microSIM that is connected to the Arduino. The researchers used simple random sampling of the probability sampling method to get respondents of the study. So the simple random sampling or sample is a subset of a statistical population in which each member of the subset has an equal probability of being chosen. And that is an unbiased representation of the group. Simple random sampling method will give the respondents an equal chance of being selected. So a total of 50 respondents of the study from different people, persons or group like IT professionals, passengers, and GP drivers were collected. So the researchers gathered the data through the use of online survey using 5 criteria from interoperability of the IoT systems frame, which include transport, syntactic, behavioral, policy, and semantic interoperability. This was the questionnaire that is used to gather the data. So each of the criteria has its own set of questions. And then for the results and discussion, the first table shows you the result for transport interoperability. So the transport interoperability is where information from the microcontroller and sensors should use an established communication. So the respondents they strongly agree that the device has communication between sensors for exchanging data to perform its function with a mean of 3.67. Following that is table 4.2 with syntactic interoperability. For this attribute, this is where the device should have the ability interpret the exchanged information and being able to read its content between sensors. Okay, so the average is 3.71, which means that the respondents strongly agree that the device is capable of exchanging and reading data between sensors in connection with the syntactic operability criteria. Following that is the behavioral interoperability. For this criteria, the device can achieve the expected outcome of each function. So the table shows that the average or the mean is 3.81, which proves that the respondents strongly agree the device is capable of achieving the expected outcome of its intended purpose. And then for the last one, for the next one would be policy interoperability. So this shows that the respondents, okay, so this focuses on the legal, organizational, and policy frameworks which should be applicable to the device. So it has 3.86 as its mean, which confirms that the respondents strongly agree that the device helps and complies with the policies and frameworks. And then for the last criteria, which is semantic interoperability, this is where the device should have the ability to exchange and use information in the data between the sensors. So this shows that a mean of 3.71 says that the respondents strongly agree that the device is capable of understanding the meaning of each data that is exchanged between sensors. And then the last one, this is the overall results for the model, which is 3.76. Okay, so it means that from the factors or from the characteristics defined in the framework used in the study, the device was able to accommodate or to do what is its intended function is. Okay, so the pandemic that the country is experiencing has now greatly affected the public transportation system. Changes are being made to cater to the needs of the commuters upon using public transportation, as well as health and safety protocols have been implemented in order to stop the spread of the virus. At the same time, our government has implemented policies such as the using face shields, plastic barriers in between passengers, and even prohibited the passengers from speaking when located inside the enclosed transportation like MRT and LRT. Along with this, many equipment have been developed to help us tackle the problems that COVID-19 has brought to our attention. But there are still some areas that need to be recognized and taken into account. On public transportation, we frequently encounter issues such as overcrowding, lack of social distancing, and even improper seating arrangements. It may appear insignificant at first, but once we've been infected, those small blunders can have a significant impact on us. The capacity checker, or this device, will provide a solution to those issues by incorporating sensors. Okay, and then it will automatically enforce the protocols which will help benefit the drivers and even the law enforcers, which constantly checks whether there is a violation occurring in the public transportation vehicle. The passengers will also have a pleasant experience commuting to work or their destination because of the risk of infection is being reduced as a result of the automatic regulation that has been imposed on the said public transportation system. It can be concluded that the objectives of the device of the study was achieved. Okay, so using the case diagram, which shows the interactions of the user to the IoT device. So we use the 5 layers of architecture for IoT, and we used as an established framework, which is ISO IEC 21 AQT-1 2019 to evaluate this device. And the researchers created a miniature design for each prototype. As for the recommendations, the study showed that the device was capable of helping to strictly implement the social distancing for modern public utility shipping. So, but there are some recommendations or improvements which are needed based on the findings. So, the first one is to add a thermal body temperature scan to detect the passenger's temperature and verify if they have sickness, and will notify the driver and prevent the passenger from entering the jeepney. And then another is the option for cashless mode of payment using a card scanner to have a fast and safe transaction without the physical contact with the driver. And then we can also use an ID scanner that will send information of the name, the contact number, and the time when the passenger arrives and departs from the GP that will be sent to the operator. And the last one is to create a mobile application where the operators can easily register connected IoT device. Okay, and then where the SMS will be sent every time the health and safety protocol is violated by the passengers or by the GP driver. Okay, that will be all for my presentation for today. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, that's all for the second video presentation. We'll continue to the last video presentation for this session, and then I will inform the name of the researcher for the last video presentation. First is Miss Marivic Mitschek, and then Miss Roda Sanares, and then Miss Maria Gloria, and also Mr. Juanito Doctor. We can begin our video presentation.
So today, I am from the Information Technology Department of VLSCB from the Philippines. And I am here to discuss with you the result of our research entitled Effectiveness and Stakeholders' Perception of the Student Information System Integration in Higher Education Institutions. The majority of human activities now must be done online due to the pandemic. So the global education system is impacted by the coronavirus. Universities, colleges, and schools are closed to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. Teachers, instructors, and students all experience health challenges when schools are closed. Therefore, distant learning is a way to keep the educational system going. Schools, colleges, and universities are utilizing the digital realm rather than the four walls of their classroom. LMS are used as virtual classrooms in higher education. Students can still learn and study at their individual houses despite the distance. Teachers can continue to deliver their lectures and instruct the next generation. It offers them the adaptability and accessibility they require to maintain their daily routine as usual. So the integration of LMS with other administrative services like enrollment, account creation, and course development are not covered in any literature, despite the fact that all higher education institutions use LMS. So the purpose of this study is to investigate how stakeholders see the role of LMS integration with administrative services. The researchers specifically want to identify and clarify administrative tasks utilizing LMS in our situation, the school book, which is a blended learning environment. The learning management system can be coupled with institutional databases and our systems that is due to the fact that student information systems connection. In this instance, the objective is to synchronize the school book with the VLSUB systems, the OURs or the registrars e-data, and the ICPCs for type and email data. Many different types of enterprises utilize LMS. However, we restricted the study to the Rosario University de Marinas, which is our home institution. The study aims to investigate how users interact with this student information system integration. The study's primary concern is with the integration of the student information systems in the management of their administrative tasks. Additionally, there is minimal attention paid to the technological requirements of integrating student information systems. Two factors contribute to this limitation. On one hand, it will be more challenging to generalize this study as it is based on pilot testing. And we should continue utilizing this to gain fuller, deeper grasp of the problem. And the next are, the results are likely to be applicable to the other campuses, campus-based courses, and universities that place the same emphasis on integrating learning management systems with other systems in the organizations, even though not all components of the study can be transferred to other situations. On the other side, the TAM framework is utilized as a theoretical foundation of this study. So the framework's shortcomings could also be applied to this study. And then the goal of software measurement research is to quantify program quality. Software measurement approaches promise to enhance process control, cut down on expenses, and time spent on development and result in higher quality software. Software metrics have been hailed as the vital tools for increasing quality and lowering costs when developing software. Software measurement systems are designed to offer input that can help a company manage its software development process better, increasing efficiency and quality. So the TAM makes an effort to explain why people choose to use a certain technology or not when carrying out a task. Many researchers have developed and modified TAM that has been used with a variety of technologies. So the study will utilize survey results from the TAM questionnaire to quantify and analyze results from a sample population. This model, as proposed by and the plan, do, check, and act framework, which is used to ensure process improvement through time, are the two key components involved in this. The TAM's inclusion in organizational policy and practice have produced excellent outcomes. The ease of use and perceived utility are influenced by the information's quality, accessibility, and perceived enjoyment. Perceived usability and usefulness have improved the students' interest in and intention to utilize technology in the classroom. If it is required at an institution, managerial interventions will decide what the facilitating conditions, such as support. Okay, the researchers gathered data through the use of an online survey form using the two criteria from the TAM questionnaire, which are perceived usability and perceived ease of use. Moreover, so the interpretation used for the data in the Likert scale were based on the range interpretation in a study by me and use, where the interpretation ranges from the mean 0.99 to 1.0 as some would disagree, 1.0 to 1.99 as disagree, 2.0 to 2.99 as agree, and 3.0 to 4.0 as strongly agree. As for the distribution of respondents, the stakeholders were asked to answer the technology acceptance model questionnaire. This distribution are as follows: 91% are students, 6% are faculty members, and 2% are staff. Okay, so for the first questionnaire, this is about the perceived usefulness of the system. This attribute is composed of 6 questions. The table shows the distribution of the ratings of the different groups of respondents. Of the different criteria to determine perceived usefulness, the respondents rated enhancing effectiveness and productivity in their job as the lowest with an average of 3.50. The highest criteria for this attribute was rated 3.33, which was that the software made their job easier. Overall, faculty, students, and staff rated the system 3.19 in terms of perceived usefulness. This can be interpreted that the stakeholders strongly agree that the student integration system is useful in the performance of their job. Okay, next table is table 2. This is the second part, which is the perceived ease of use. The respondents rated the system 3.17 for the characteristic ease of learning. So this was the lowest of all the characteristics. On the other hand, the clear and understandable interaction with the system was rated at 3.26, which had the highest rating. Overall, perceived ease of use was rated at 3.22, which can then be interpreted that the stakeholders strongly agree that the student integration system is easy to use in the performance of their job. And the next is the overall result. Okay, so the former was rated 3.19, which is perceived usefulness, and 3.22 for perceived ease of use. Overall, the respondents rated the system at 3.205, which can be interpreted that the stakeholders strongly agree that the student integration system is highly useful and easy to use and would greatly help them in the performance of their job. Okay, as for the conclusion, the proponents were able to determine that the system is highly accepted by the stakeholders, which will directly interact with the system. It can also be inferred from the suggestions and feedback from the stakeholders that features may be added to be able to assist them in the performance of their job. Further, technology successfully connected the school book and e-data with accuracy. And the SIS integration, which was designed to appropriately represent the data from the e-data to the school book, was successful in achieving its intended goal, according to the experience and input from teachers, staff, and students. And then the last one are the recommendations. The policy on loading of subjects loaded to the faculty members and posting of payments by the students in particular have an impact on the usefulness of the system. So to ensure that the system will be seen favorably, these two problems need to be resolved. Okay, and that's all for my presentation. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so that's all with the video presentations. And now we're going to the Q&A sessions. We'll have the Q&A sessions until 3:30. So if someone is going to ask, please state your institution and what's your name on the Zoom chat. We will still going to wait until 3:30. While we're waiting, please we can have the photo session, and all of the participants needs to open their camera. Uh, okay, 1, 3. We can repose. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We can take one more pose with freestyle, okay? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
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 Then thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Owner of this transportation is owned by a private company or by the government.
Excuse me, Rosita. You're still on mute.
Sorry. Ya, yang di situ harus di-mute tuh. Oke. Nah, in my opinion, if it is owned by the government, so it will be easy to implement this technology. But if this jeepney is owned by individually, I think it is will be difficult to implement because it is related to the money, the amount of money that will be obtained. So I think they will obey it, and people will continue to break the rule of COVID-19, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, ma'am. Actually, traditionally, the jeepney operators are individuals who own the jeepney. But the government is now in the process of acquiring e-jeepney. Those are modern jeepneys, and they are electrical, and they use electricity. So these are what we call modern jeepneys. These are owned by the government, and they are given, or the individuals are given the chance to buy them. Okay, so maybe policies for that should be initiated for so that the device would be included in the purchase of the GP. Thank you so much for that, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. I think that's all for me.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any question? We still have like 4 more minutes.
May I have a question, please?
Yes. Hello.
Can I start now?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. My question refers to the first presentation.
Yes,
I think
please.
it's about It's about I don't remember the title. Kind of photographic or what? It is interesting for me since I'm not that familiar with the technology, but you use it for your research in particular purposes. How I mean, how can you identify based on the sound to come up to a particular decision? Just want to know that the technique, how you do it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that.
Sorry, I need to come on.
The first presentation was about, is it about the alignment of the objectives, alignment of the objectives and the assessment. I used Weka. Weka is a data mining tool which we use um, uh, to feed variables, and then we identify the classification, because my problem was about a classification problem. So I identified if this assessment belong to the low thinking skills or higher level thinking skills, and if they are aligned. So based on the variables that I inputted in the WECA, so I inputted variables like if it's discrete or graded or not. So based from that, WECA automatically suggested or classified those assessments if they belong to a particular level in the Bloom taxonomy. So it's automatically a product of WECA. I just have to interpret the result.
I mean, do you use like a vibration that to identify, for example, hesitation or proudness or arrogance from the sound, something like that?
The data that I used for this one is historical data. So the of the all the assessments from the full book, which is our platform. So I use that to feed the data into the WECA. So it's already in the database. I just put it in the data mining activity or in the data mining platform.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. It's done. It's already 3:30, and then after this, we will continue to this second session. We're going to show the certificate for the first session first. Okay. Please, operator. So this is the certificate for the first session. Okay, so the first session is done. We will continue to the second session. And now it's time for us to present the research. Before that, is Mr. Christopher is here? So, we just jump to the second speaker. The second speaker, please welcome Mr. Pinar Eko Haryanto and also Miss Rosita Herawati. It's we will present the video right now, and please, operator.
Hi, my name is Pinar. I'm a fresh graduate from the Asian of Computer Science faculty in SUPERVISED Catholic University. Today, I'll give you my presentation of my research project at Adison 2022 in the room of technology, titled Implementation Analysis of Synthetic Data Flows for Medical Force Number Prediction. And this research is a joint research with my supervisor, Mrs. Rosita. So here is the outline of my presentation, and there will be background, methodology, problem formulation, and the work of my presentation will be the result in the form of graphics and visualization, and then conclusion and analysis. So diving back into the background, as we all already know, medical workforce is among the most important asset the nation should possess. However, according to the Department of Population and Civil Registration or DUTAPIL, just only 0.2% of the Indonesian population is medical practitioner, which is stated as concerning. And if anything, the COVID-19 pandemic has proven us the significance of medical personnel as the sufficiency of professional will lead to patient abandonments, eventually casualties. So here's the image taken from Kajian City in Indonesia, and we can see that there are many patients abandoned because of the lack of medical personnel and facility. And the stations, medical personnel have to work overtime with this, and this is a mess. So I come with a solution which is using prediction algorithm that can be used to acquire future medical personnel. And this prediction will hopefully be useful for the government to make precise decisions in regard to medical personnel engagements, that there will be no region with access nor shortage of medical personnel. And Evelyn are selected for this research due to their high accuracy based on previous researches. And there's one problem. High quality and complete medical personal data is actually scarce in Indonesia. And with so little data, a prediction will not provide good accuracy. So it comes to technical data generation, which can be used to substitute real data with high quality data to train the algorithm. One of such technique is called synthetic data flow. So why should we trust this technique? Well, there's this research conducted by Taufan et al. In 2021, in which he compared simple synthetic techniques such as SynPop, SD, and SDV. The research revealed that SDV scored the best in the prediction and can be used to substitute real data. So in summary, by combining data generation technique and prediction algorithm, we can achieve a high accuracy medical personnel number prediction. But there are problems or rather questions. First one is, what is the difference between real data and SDV generated ones? How are they compared to each other? Secondly, based on accuracy, is SDV technique eligible to substitute real medical workforce number data? And lastly, which algorithm is the best to be used with SDV between SPR and RF for the scope of this research? And the scope itself is data used in research are taken before the COVID-19 pandemic.
index. And the reason behind this is the fact that the workforce trend changed significantly during the pandemic situation, and data availability within this period of time is very minuscule. It's not enough to support my research. This is the data set. For the x-axis, we have the indexes containing medical personnel type, and for the y-axis, we have the annual intervals, and for the quantile is the medical personnel count or number. So to answer the first question or the first problem is the comparison between SDV and SDV data and original data. And for the context, the x-axis of this statistic is the number of sequences, and sequences is linked to the number of data generated from the SDV algorithm. I have two different statistics here. The left one is data generated from forensic index, and the right one is from the data index. And as we can see that the man saw an increase, yet interestingly the deviation standard saw a sharp decrease. And the pattern seems consistent between the both indexes, and the two indexes have different data range. One has the maximum of 7.7 and the other has a maximum of 78.0. So the beta index has bigger data range, yet the pattern seems consistent. When saw an increase and deviation standard saw a decrease. To answer the second question is the accuracy test result between original data and SDV generated data. And on the left side is the original data accuracy test. It's using just the original data as a training data. And on the right side, the prediction used SDV data to support the prediction. And as we can see that the error value seems to be lower at the right side of the screen for the SDV supported data. Lower error value means higher accuracy, so SDV data seems to perform better than original data in this regard. And it seems consistent between three different data count, number of data generated from SDV. So yeah, SDV performs better than original data in my research. So for the third question is the detailed comparison between SPR and RF based on accuracy. And as we can see that the RF performs better at higher data count, higher sequences, and conversely, SPR performs better at lower data count. And it seems consistent between MSN MAPE evaluation test. And yeah, that's all for the result of my research. And in conclusion, SDV data has lower deviation standard or variance, thus less chaotic than the original data. And prediction with SDV data performs marginally, not by far, just marginally better than the original data. And it is safe to declare that SDV generated data are valid substitute to real data, assuming trends continue. And there is no clear decisive winner between SPR and RF in this research. SPR outperforms RF in lower data training count, and vice versa. So lastly, here's the references that I used as the base of my research. And that's all from my presentation. I'm eager to see what SDV can elevate the prediction algorithm in the future, and I hope my research can be the reference for many researches to come. And thank you for your attention, and bye.
Welcome to Sugio Pranata Catholic University.
Okay, that's all from the feature presentation from Mr. Pinar Eko Haryanto and also Ms. Rosita Hirawati. And then we will continue to the next to the next presentation. It's from Miss Winan Christine Tabunan and also Dr. Anders Twihayu Agustini. Please present for those.
Excuse me, is there any video from the presentation of Vinan?
Bu Hayu already sent the presentation?
It's supposed Vinan send it. If it doesn't, then I will. May I present lively?
There's no video received, or are you going to represent it by yourself? Or we still have time, you can send it to our chat or the link.
Because Vinan, because of her job, then she could not attend. So I may representing her if it's allowed. Otherwise, yeah, you may skip.
If you want to present yourself, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sorry. While we're waiting for the last presentation, is Mr. Christopher P. Parmis already here, attend on the Zoom room? Iya, kayak takutnya itu dia. Iya, masih still in the main room. Diamond. We're going back to Miss Winan and also Miss Dwi Hayu Agustini. Are you ready for presenting your research?
So am I allowed to present lively?
Yes,
Should I
of course.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. May I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Can everyone see now? Is it ready? Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to present this. digital augmented reality as a tool for building stronger institutional brand image. It's supposed to be presented by Vinan Christine, but because of her job, then I may represent her for doing this. It is start from the pandemic COVID-19 that we already know that it brings significant effect on areas, including education, in which that the number of students experienced by many universities declined substantially, and also university have difficulties in delivering the teaching process and the other service to their students. And the choice is to use IT for conducting the service or the purpose in educational processes, such as for doing promotion, registration, teaching until graduation. One of the university, which is Sugio Pranoto Catholic University, abbreviated here as SCUs, has been also actively using digital technology and innovation. It uses the technology for cyber, in terms of cyber learning, digital attendance. Vanica stands for virtual assistant Unica, and also for graduation, and many other areas that applying IT for the process. One of the SEU's digital innovation is called augmented reality. It is already applied in library and also promotion in recruiting a student recruitment. So this is one of the innovation that is claimed as the first in the, at least in the area. The digital augmented reality that is easy to use and innovative is able to create positive brand image. Then as a colleague in the university, 327 students indicate that the augmented reality already brought the image that the university as a modern or sophisticated university. It means that the positive brand image has already created due to the augmented reality. In the marketing or area, positive brand image influences purchase decision. If someone has a image which is positive, will likely to make buying or purchase to the institution. In this case, that people may want to be the student of the university. That's the purpose of the study, then, to try to understand the impact of augmented reality to potential students' decision for choosing the university, mediating by brand image, whether brand image is the mediating or directly affected to the decision to enter to the university. The review is about the digital product. It means that augmented reality is one of the digital product innovation, and it creates brand image. Brand image is a set of belief, ideas, and trustworthy that owned by individual toward a brand. And this particularly will have impact on the buying decision, in which conceptually buying decision consists of 5-stage process, which is problem identification at the first stage, and then followed by information searching. People will try to search information about the problem is already identified, and then try to find the alternatives and evaluate them and then make decision to choose one of the alternatives and then consume it, and then there will be post-purchase evaluation, yeah, after using or experiencing the product or services. Based on this concept, then the study tried to identify whether there is a relationship or influences between augmented reality to purchase decision with brand image as the mediating variable. So we have 4 hypotheses here. The first one, whether augmented reality affect positively and significantly the university's brand image, and whether brand image affect positively and significantly purchase decision, and directly augmented affect the purchase decision. And the fourth hypothesis, that we will see whether brand image here act as the intervening variable. For doing to prove the model, we survey on the student and also the parent who enter the university in the year 2020 and 2022, since the augmented reality is the first implemented at 2019, and sample of 100% are selected, but only 75 completed response. We use a questionnaire distributed using Google Form with 5-point Likert to gather their perception about the augmented reality. And then the analysis will be using PET analysis, using SPSS, and also for the hypothesis test using t-test and f-test. And the result indicate that, as we can see here, the PET analysis, that augmented reality influence to brand image with the significance of 0.0. It means that the model is fit. Also, adjusted R-square represent as 0.563 is also fit. Similarly to the influence between brand image to purchase decision, and it's also significance in 0.0, and also augmented reality to purchase decision. So it means that the model is relatively good, and the coefficient regression here showing each 0.755 and 0.662 respectively indicate the influence of augmented reality to brand image, and then brand image to purchase decision. And for the augmented reality to purchase decision, 0.574. And based on the hypothesis test, we can see that the 3 hypotheses is accepted. It means that augmented reality statistically and significantly influence the brand image, and augmented reality also significantly affect decision to enter as the university student, and also brand image affect positively and significantly to the decision to be the student of the university. And whether the brand image act as the intervening variable, the result indicates that it doesn't. It means that the augmented reality have direct effect to purchase decision. Yeah, even that brand image influence purchase decision, but it doesn't act as the intervening variable. In other words, that hypothesis 4 was rejected. So we can conclude that augmented reality creates particular brain image, and the brain image affect purchase decision. Directly, augmented reality influences purchase decision, but indirectly, it does not influence decision to select SCU as the university to brain image. In other words, that brain image doesn't strengthen augmented reality in influencing purchase decision. And based on this conclusion, that one of the recommendation here we can provide, SCU can use augmented reality for building its brand image and using it in its promotion. It can target perspectives in its recruitment according to the brand image. So it's more focused on a particular prospective student based on the brand image that created through the augmented reality. And that's all. Thank you for the time.
Okay, that's all for the presentation. And once again, we'll come back to Mr. Christopher P. Parmis. Are you here already? Okay, if not, we're going to heading to the next session, which is the Q&A session. Is there anyone who want to ask from for the second session?
Good afternoon. That's for the presentation was very good. Okay, so the first presentation was about the use of algorithms, so SVR and then the random forest. It's I commend you with the use of those complicated algorithms to solve practical problems. I would just like to ask, how far into the future was your prediction? How many years from now up to the future was your prediction based from your study? How long into the future was your prediction?
So the future is it can be so how the prediction itself is actually not time restrained. So it is you can predict as long as the predictor user sure that the trend continues just it is unchanged significantly. So the trend continues as the same as long that factor is satisfied. We can basically it's unlimited. You can predict just as long as you can based on the data. But realistically, trend change in history rapidly. So we can't like expect that the current trends continue forever, right? So it continues like maybe with my assumption, as long as there is no big events that change the workforce trends and like pandemics also, it 5 to 10 years I assume, but that might be a further research for that topic alone. So I don't think I can answer that very accurately.
I understand. Actually, that
Actually,
was
that
what
was what
happened
happened
to the
to the
whole
whole
world
world
for the
in the
last
last
2
few
years.
years.
No one expected the pandemic to be that long. We expected that the lockdown for
for week for as long as 1 week, 2 weeks, and then it went on up to 2 years. So I just like to appreciate how you use the algorithm to solve problems which are of practical nature and which non-IT or non-CS people will be able to understand easily. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. And
Is there any more question from other participants?
I would like to ask.
Okay, okay.
Because I'm the reactor. I'm supposed to react. The last presentation is about the use of augmented reality. Okay, so it's one avenue, ma'am, it's one avenue that we have to look into, since especially now, you can't go to school, to your feeder schools, to market your product, and also not all are online. So I would just like to know how is the AR, or augmented reality, accessed by those who were um part of the survey, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Yeah. Actually, there is data showing how they know about augmented reality. Majority of them stated that they know about it, and some of them only know how it is used by the university. For example, that the three main area we use it in the library about it, because since it is related to library, and the respondent consisting student and parents, only those are student knows about it, parents don't know about it. And also for promotion, similarly, that some stated know about augmented reality in the promotion, some do not. Kind of that. Is that answering your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, I've been here in Unica for my second time. I'm still amazed. So I hope that we have the same campus, but your campus is a lot larger and a lot greener. Okay, so the use of artificial intelligence, augmented reality to market your product is really now the trend, especially when we are all going online. Okay, and then the use of other technologies to predict or to market our product is very innovative. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. It's a very good research.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any more question? We still have time until 4:30. If there's no more question, we will break until 4:30. But make sure at 4:30 we will come back to the Zoom room together. Thank you. Um, Kamera. What is- oh. We will show you the e-certificate for the second session. So this is the e-certificate for the second session. That's all. Thank you. Okay, we're going to continue to the last session. So before that, let me inform you about the researchers of the first speakers in the last session. The first is Mr. Setiawan Ajinugroho, and then Miss Linggar Yektinugraini, and then Miss Agnes Advencia Krismastuti. We will begin the first video presentation.
Hello, my name is Roberto Setiawan Ajinugroho, and I would like to present our work titled Is Supply Chain and Financial Technology Adoption for Social Forestry Farmers. This is our works from me, Roberto Setiawan Ajinugroho, with Nadia Linggari Aktinugrahini, and also Agnes Advencia Krismastuti from Sukyo Pranoto Catholic University. So we have partners who has or who organize more than 100,000 forestry social farmers in Java Island. This is under the Social Forestry Society movement, or we used to call it as a Gema Perhutanan Sosial. It is founded in cooperation with the Presidential Staff Office, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agrarian and Special Planning, and also Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs. So those social forestry farmers in Java, we have tons of commodities. For example, like corn, and then pineapples, and also other types of or various of commodities. However, the economic values of these commodities are still very low. Most of the farmers, they cannot reach the off-takers, like the big off-takers or companies. Usually they sell it to local supplier or local distributor with a low price. Gema Perhutanan organized more than 35,000 hectares of areas covering West Java, Sumedang, Subang, and also East Java, Madura, Malang, Batu, Kediri, Lamongan, Jombang, and also in Central Java, especially Pati, Boyolali, Pemalang, Kendal, Batang, and Rembang. And with this fact, Gema Perhutanan Sosial has the problems to govern the organization with this big scale of farmers, and they have difficulties on initiating the supply chain application, and also the financial system, how to make it accountable, how to make the financial report transparent, and so forth and so on. So based on this more than 100, so those farmers, more than 100,000 farmers are divided into small communities. There are more than 100 forestry social farmers communities spread in 27 cities or municipalities. And each of the communities have a big quantities and good qualities commodities. However, as I said before, that it is difficult to sell it in a good prices. Many off-takers actually, like big companies or even the public companies, they are ready to buy. However, they need the exact numbers of the results or the commodities, and also the quality. It must be the number of the quantities and also the quality must be stated and must be provided in advance. And this is the biggest problem actually, because so far with the spread of areas and also the number of the farmers, it is difficult to organize. this kind of communities and commodities. Also, the communities, they still apply traditional financial reporting by just writing a note of the money that they get or the money they spend, and it's mostly are not accountable because of these traditional methods. So to address this problem, we require online technology adoption to integrate both the supply chain and also the financial reporting. However, there's a big challenge here where most of the users are low in digital literacy. We can imagine that the user, they have a smartphone, they can use the WhatsApp, etc. But just that, they are not capable of doing the searching or something, or to use the really advanced application in these terms. So this is a big challenge for us to how to design and how to develop a system for those people who has a low digital literacy or deficiencies of digital literacy. Well, actually, this is not new works, but so far that we know, to the best of our knowledge, that our work is the first one who integrates supply chain methods and also the financial reporting into a single application. For example, like the work of Gumolong, Latekova, Rupnik, and also Susanto and Tekinardan. They focus on the information system for management and decision support, but mostly limited into the data collection and visualization, not yet touching the financial reporting and also the prediction for the supply chain, supply and demand. And then Isa and also Teki Nerdogan, Porwati, they try to develop the cooperation-based information system who covers also the financial reporting, but the problem is that it's still really difficult to use. They need to understand at least a basic of accounting system with the balance, debit, credit, those kind of theory. So it's not suitable for the people with deficiencies in digital literacy. And if we see how the social forestry foundation works, in this case is Kema Perhutanan Sosial, we found that they coordinate with the people or the branch in each province and also in the smaller area, and they also coordinate with several communities in their area as well. But this what we call this KTH here is the social forestry communities. They are still very big because one KTH, one communities in this level still have like around 500 to 1,000 or even 2,000 farmers. So we again divided into the smaller one, which covers like 20 to 30 farmers. And then these farmers will, these coordinators on this community level will try to maintain and organize the farmers and also the commodities. So this is our solution, which is to build a system, an integrated system, which is which utilize the hierarchy of the coordination or organization by here the head office or Kema in this case, they will input the communities, the bigger communities on the higher level, and also they do the monitoring and also develop a business model for the social forestry. And then in the lower level, they organize the what we call the SKUPS here, the community, the smaller community, which coordinates 20 to 30 farmers. And then they are this level who is responsible for the supply chain methods. And in the higher level, they responsible for the financial reporting. So Basically, this is for the supply chain, and then if we see here, the KTA, the host communities have access to the financial reporting, and later we will develop it into the cooperation organization. So our methods on this research is first is to specify the requirements, both the functional and non-functional requirements. We did the focus group discussion with the social forestry movement, and also some of the communities. We had 32 communities that we organized here in Semarang, and we did the focus group discussion. We also did the survey to several locations directly to make sure that our developed online system is working in this kind of area from the non-technical perspective and also the technical perspective. And then we continue with the system design to develop from the interface and until the background system. After that, we did the implementation of the prototype. We did the development, coding, and then followed by the testing and evaluation. In this area, in the testing, we did it together with the social farmers, with the communities, coordinators, and we did the evaluation, improve it, and then now it's already fully implemented. So here's the screenshot of the supply chain, where we can see here, this is the dashboard where to show how many hectares and then how many communities at different levels, and also the farmers that have been input. And the coordinator of the lower communities, they are responsible to input each farmer name and address, and also the areas there, and then maintain the commodities that they plant here. So every time farmers is planting a new or a new season before the getting the results, they input the plants that they plant here, for example, like corn, how many is the seeds, and then when is it started to plant, and then from there we can see that how when is the estimated of the crops can be the results of the crop they can get, and then also the how much is the results here, how many quintals or tons, for example, like that. So in this case, within a year, or I mean, like every month, we can see that if the farmers plants on the January here, we can see how much is the results on May. So we have predictions of the commodities results here based on this prediction, and then the social forestry movement, in this case IKEMA, and then they can start selling it to the off-takers. They can contact the companies that they say that we have this commodities will be ready on March with this kind of qualities and so forth. So then they can lock the price in the front with the good price. Yep. And then to make sure that all the financial reporting is transparent and also accountable, we also develop a system that easy to use. In this case, the coordinators, they don't need to understand about how to build the activity report, financial report, or the balance reports, those kind of things. They don't need to understand what is debit, what should be the debit, what should be the credits, those kind of things. Basically, what they know is that I have money here, and then what I need to pay for. So those kind of things only, with a really easy interface. So they don't need to differentiate between which one goes to the debit or credits. This is very easy. So for the users, they don't need to understand about this kind of accounting theory. They can just understand, if I spend this money, I take it from this post or from this account, and then I use it to pay something else. I just need this kind of description, and then put the numbers in, and then it automatically generates the accounting report. We have the profit reports and also the balance reports in this case. So both of these records and also other types of reports is available from the system. They are ready to use and can be used, and it is a bankable report that they can provide it to stakeholders. We did the evaluation. We used the technology acceptance model in here. We try to see the 5 factors here: intention to use, perceived usefulness, ease of use, attractiveness, computer, mobile phone, self-efficacy. At the first time I mentioned about the challenge, the big challenge that the user is maybe have a deficiency in the digital literacy. So we need to make sure that our developed system can be used and it is easy to use. And this is the list of the question for the questionnaire for the survey that we did. And this is the results. Most of them do agree in average. This is the average of the every question we found it. Most of users do agree that it is easy to use, it is useful, and also this is attractive, and they know and they understand the benefit of using this system. So most of the average are above a 4 or in the agree level in here. So well, up to today, we have 91 higher communities input already, and then also the 143 lower level communities which responsible for the farmers with 9,000 and 5,000 already planted there. So in conclusion, to govern the organization of social forestry farmers and initiate to apply a supply chain and financial system, we need to adopt online technology. We develop web-based and integrated supply chain and financial reporting information system that to make it easier for user, it can be accessed both in computer, PC or laptop, and also mobile phone, a very simple mobile phone. To deal with the biggest challenge, the lack of digital literacy, we need to develop a system that easy to use based on the user perspective. We design it based on what we get from the focus group discussion and then develop the interface. We combine it with the commitment and understanding of the future benefits for the farmer itself, where they can improve the level of their economic levels. Our evaluation shows that the developed system is easy to use and useful for social forestry farmers. Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, so that's the first video presentation. So that's the first video presentation for the third session. And then we're going to continue to the second video presentation from from Mr. Noval Fajar Kustiawan and Dr. Leonardus Heru Pratomo. We can
Greetings
begin right
to
now.
all viewers. My name is Noval Fajar Kustiawan, majoring in electrical engineering at Sugio Pranoto Catholic University. On this occasion, I will present my research with the title of Voltaic Control on Wind Turbine Power Plant Application using PMSG for Battery Charging. This presentation will be divided into 4 points. The first point is introduction, the second point is result, third point is method, and the last point is conclusion. This research is motivated by renewable energy needs continue to increase and use continuously. one of the studies on the change of wind energy into electrical energy using PMSG. PMSG is used as a battery charger. It takes equipment in the form of a converter that can produce a lower and stable voltage at non-constant speed condition. On the method slide, there is a DC-DC converter step-down configuration, or often called a buck converter. It can be seen that the circuit shown in different from the buck circuit in general. The proposed buck converter is a converter with a new topology, namely a voltage control double buck DC-DC converter with PI control. The circuit will be control the output voltage generated by PMSG into a stable DC voltage at non-constant speed condition as a battery charger. As shown in the figure, the reference voltage to be the PI control generate an error signal for the control algorithm used in the converter. It is generated into PWM, which is then used as input for the switch in the converter circuit. The converter sends a reduced and adjusted voltage signal to the filter to generate pure DC voltage to charge the battery. In addition to charging the battery, the voltage that has passed through the filter will be used feedback and will be compared with the reference voltage. This system is often called a closed-loop system. This converter uses the STM32F STM32F407 microcontroller as the control center. In the first condition, the active switch S1 and S2 produce an output voltage equal to the source voltage. The second condition is that only switch S2 is active, producing an output of half of the source voltage. The third condition is that only switch S1 is active, producing the same output as the second condition, which is half of the source voltage. The fourth condition of both switch S1 and S2 is of to produce an output voltage of 0 volt. The next slide shows the overall workflow of the converter component and converter support component. The following are the results of the hardware implementation that has been made. In the result of the first experiment with a speed of 200 RPM, the pictures on left is the voltage wave from the simulation result, and the picture on the right is the voltage wave from the hardware implementation. It can be seen that the actual voltage follow the reference voltage. In this condition, the battery is charged. The result of the second experiment at a speed 300 RPM, the simulated voltage wave and the hardware implemented voltage wave produce a wave with good tracking. In this condition, the battery can also be charged. The result of the last experiment, using a speed of 400 RPM, it produced a simulated voltage wave and same hardware implementation as the first and second experiment. In this condition, the battery can also be charged. From the experiment and explanation above, the following conclusion can be drawn. The converter can produce low and stable voltage wave with a simple circuit. Converter can charge 48-volt batteries with stable DC voltage. The converters can reduce the voltage and keep the stability of the generated voltage at unconstant speed. That's all, and I say thank you.
So that's for the second video. We will jump to the last video presentation of our third session. Jump into the last session, the last video. It's from Mr. Faisal Bukhari and from Dr. Leonardus Heru Pratomo. Let's begin our video right now.
My name is Faisal Bukhari, majoring in electrical engineering at Viorent Taufan University. On this session, I will present my research with the title Implementation of Single Bus 5-level Inverter for Independent Power Supply Application. This presentation will be divided into 4 points. The first point, the problem. Second point is the solution, and the third point is the result, and the last point is the conclusion. Problem. This research is being motivated by the trend of solar power generated is growing rapidly in Indonesia. Field electric devices in Indonesia still use AC electricity. A device is needed to convert DC electrical energy into AC, namely a conventional inverter. Conventional inverters have limits such as high switch frequency and large voltage, and high harmonic value. The solution to this problem is cascaded inverter. The main problem with multi-stage inverter is the number of power switches used and their control strategy. A voltage regulator 5-stage inverter is proposed, which use low frequency and does not require many power switches for low THD than ordinary multi-stage inverter. In the study, the embedded signal with one reference signal is calculated by algorithm to control 6 power switch to produce a better sinusoidal signal. The output of the inverter is used as standalone power supply. This is a strategy of control. The inverter can reduce and adjust voltage signal to the filter to produce an AC voltage. This is generated into PWM, which is the use input for the switch in the inverter circuit. The voltage through the filter will be used as feedback and compared with the reference voltage. As shown in the figure, the reference voltage to the PI control generated an error signal for the control operator used in the inverter. This system is often called a closed loop system. Next, this is operation mode in inverter 5-level. In operation mode, this is a 5 operation mode. Operation 1, when switch S1 and S6 are active, electric from they should flow to the load before returning through S4. The operation mode 2, if power switches S3 and S2 are conductor, they will flow from source to load before return to DC source via power switch S2. Operation mode 3, when switch S1 and switch 3 are the conductance positive, positive freewheeling current flow to the load will combine power switch S2 and S4 produce negative current. And operating number 4, current from the DC source will flow the load through the diodes on power switch P2 and P1 and then return to the DC source when conductance S3 and power switch P1 and P2 are present. The last one, mode operation 5. Operation mode 5. When the power switch S3 and S2 are conduction, current from DC source will flow the load and return to DC source through the power switch S3. Next slide. This is a result. The following are the result of the hardware implementation that's being made. This is a hardware implementation. This is the output voltage, and the red is before being filtered will be look like a square wave, and green after being filtered it will be shaped into sine wave, and from the bottom are the output voltage and output current. This slide is a load response test be impress the load use. I can be seen in the picture that the current is initially small and then large while the voltage is stable and does not change. This is the value based on real-time simulation. Next calculation. This 5-level inverter has 6 active switch which make circuit simple. By using a control strategy, this able to produce a regulate output voltage, and it was found that the system can work as independent power supply and has a defect rate of 4.07%. This result is still below the IEEE 519 standard with a maximum value of 5%. That's all, and I say thank you.
Okay, now it's all done. Now it's all done. Okay, now it's all done for the session 3, and we're heading to the last Q&A session for this time. And while we're waiting for the question, we will have the last photo session together. Please open your camera, and we can pose in front of the camera. One, two, three. Stop. One, two, three. Okay, then now we're waiting for the question and answer.
Okay, moderator, I ask question?
Oh, yeah,
Hello?
you can continue.
Okay.
Yeah, we can listen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I have some questions for all presenters. Thank you for the good presentations for all. My first questions for Dr. Setiawan Aji. Yeah, your research is very good, I think. And I would like to know the method you apply to analyze the data because you have a big data, yeah, I think. And how to validate those data? Yeah, that's my first questions. And my second questions for Dr. Setiawan Aji. Yeah, you mentioned in the background that this program can meet between the farmers and the market. Could you mention the achievement related to these purposes? Is there any changes in the e-supply chains after applications of the systems? Okay, that's my questions for Dr. Setiawan Aji. And I have questions as well for Noval and Faisal. My questions for Noval. Yeah, actually, yeah, it is interesting to discuss about the wind turbine power plants that you mentioned in your abstracts. Yeah, could you describe how is the process to get the electrical energy from wind turbine power plants? Then how effective the electrical energy produced by the wind energy? Then you get it for the energy for the battery charge. Okay, that my question for Noval. And my questions for Faisal. Yeah, actually your novelty very good, but yeah, at the last of your discussions, you mentioned that the result is still below the standards. Then how to reduce the defect rate or how to increase the quality, yeah, of the your probably your next research. Yeah, you have suggestions or you have a plan so the quality can be increased. Okay, thank you, moderator.
Okay, you're welcome. Is there any question or okay? Now, sir, you can start to answer.
Yes.
Or are you going to open your mic? Just use your mic. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
It's good enough. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Christina, for the questions. Yep. This is interesting question where how to analyze the data because the what we have in the commodity itself, we have like more than 200 commodities currently in our database, and this is actually one of the hardest part for the supply chain problem. So the development of the system itself is actually not quite not so difficult. I can say that we use the machine learning to do the analysis, but firstly, what we need to do is to build the training data where we need to manually label and manually assign and manually define the calculation for each commodities. For example, the corn seed, for example, 1 kilogram of the corn seed can produce like 1 quintal crops or the corn results, for example, like that within like 90 days. So that's what happened was like we have a focus group discussion with both the farmer and also an expert from the Kacamata University, Professor San Apri Awang, from the Forestry Department, and also from the Ministry of the Farmers, I can say Kementerian Pertanian, that help us to define those levels and those data trainings. And from there, and then our system try to predict. We use the machine learning technology to adopt or to classify the results based on several issues, including the when is the seed was planted, starting point, and then in the end, and then it will develop over the time when there are a lot of plantation happen, and the future work will be we need to consider the location of the plantation to make sure that it is also covers the, for example, like the weather and then the situation of the land, those kind of things. We haven't included that into the analysis yet, but so far we use the data training based on this definition and database where the commodities we know the seeds and how long is the how long the farmers can get the results from, for example, like the crop, 90 days, and then for the I can't say what is it called, the tobaccos, the cengkeh, we called it, and pete, for example, like that. It can be for like how many days, and also for the wood production, for example, like the timber, how long is it will be can be taken off. That's based on the farmer discussion, and then we put it on the database as a training. And then secondly, for the benefit for the farmers, yes, we have based on this system, we have met the off-takers, especially we have two off-takers that has signed the communique together, including the Indica, PT Indica, and Fair Ventures, who has signed the memorial MOU with Kema, the forestry farmers, and also us to they will buy the specific production, especially the eucalyptus oil from the Boyolali farmers, and they also support with the like embung, we call it embung, for the irrigation for the plants there. So that's the first benefits that starting from this project, actually, that they see the prediction and the results, and also the farmers that has been the member of this system, and then they can see the production and also the prediction, and then they finally sign the agreement to buy the crops, and also including the eucalyptus results. That's all from me. Thank you, Dr. Christina. If you have any more questions, please.
Yeah, thank you. That's clear. Good, thank you.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Hello. Yes, hello. The electricity is generated from the rotation of PMSD, and the efficiency PMSD rotation can be controlled so that the output voltage can be stable and produce an efficient amount of electricity for charging the battery. That's answer for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and for the last question, can please be answered by Mr. Faisal?
Yes, I can answer.
Okay.
I can change the control system to PID, and I use the appropriate the inductor filter for maximum result. So answer from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Faisal. Have you done that idea?
Yes, this is my idea.
Oh, just an idea.
Yeah.
For the next experiment?
For that next experiment is to the travel for step up in 222.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Yeah, I think you have to follow the standard first because yeah, it's very important, I think, before you apply it. Okay, thank you, Faisal.
Thank you, Mr. Christiana.
Yeah, thank you. I give the time to moderator. Thank you.
Any other question before we close our today's session? So, okay, we will just close our session for today. Thank you for attending to our breakout room. We're going to present the e-certificate first before you leave the room. Please stay in this room until all it's done, okay? Thank you. Okay, that's all. And for the best presenters, we will announce it tomorrow for the closing ceremony. And thank you for today. And we hope to see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you and goodbye.